Hello, this is Severin Henderson back again for another episode of Department 3C Presents a podcast. This is going to be the part two of an episode that I originally recorded with my friend Michael Spencer. Reason we had to go to a two-parter is because we had so much fun just recording and putting the episode down. He had a lot of great stuff to say, a lot of positivity, and we just felt like it couldn't all fit into one podcast, so we made it into two. So one episode will come out, then you check out the other episode, and please get back to us with feedback. Tell me what you think. Thanks again for listening. Enjoy the episode.
Vitals. I don't know who she was. Like, I don't even know if it was a nurse. I think they just sent like environmental into my room to go check that guy's vitals. We don't even care about this guy right now, you know. Not that they didn't care. They cared. But you know, just so then of course I get on in my own head and in my own emotions and feels, and I start looking up because I've heard stories like in the field, in the paramedic world and fire service world, you hear like crazy stories all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I start Googling heart transplant stories.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I start finding the craziest ass,
Worst stories.
horrible stories that, and like little ones like, oh, a heart transplant recipient was right-handed, now they're left-handed, and they found out that the
That
left
might have
hand.
did you a favor.
No, well, like I'm telling. So then, like, but then, like, you gotta worry about going into the rabbit hole because once you start with these stories, it's like, oh, I gotta read another one. Like, oh, I got one person. It was like they hated pineapple and now they love pineapple. They eat pineapple on their pizza now. They love pineapple. Like, but it was, and then they find out that they got the heart from someone that was like a pineapple farmer from wherever. You know what I mean? Like, so then listen to this. I read this story, right? It's out of the UK and I think it's still online. I'm sure it's still online. But I'm sitting in my ICU bed and I'm reading this, right? It's like 11 o'clock at night. I can't sleep anyway. I'm reading the story. And the story is, it's about a double suicide, or a murder-suicide, right? Mm-hmm. So this guy, he gets a heart transplant. He's married, has kids. They've married for 40 years, whatever, this and that, in love with his wife. Their kids are grown. Just an awesome family, right? Mm-hmm. Guy needs a heart transplant, gets a heart transplant, right? All of a sudden, he murders his wife and kills himself, right? His kids lose their mind. Why did dad kill mom? Dad killed himself. What happened? This and that, whatever, this and that. So the kids investigate where they get the heart from, right? Mm-hmm. Heart became available from a suicide victim. Mm-hmm. So they look into it, and the suicide victim was a murder-suicide, right? Thank you. See? Yes. Yes. So then I'm like, oh my God, that's it. That's all I need. That's all I need to see. Like, no. So my nurse comes in the morning and I'm like, read this. And I hand her my phone and she's like scrolling, reading. And you could see she's just like, you idiot.
Yes.
Like, what are you doing? So she's got my phone in my hand now, right? So she's like, well, guess what? You lost all phone privileges now. And she takes my phone away. But I'm like, it doesn't matter because I already read the story.
I already know it.
So like, let's get crazy for a second, right? This is my mentality. This is my thinking on this, right? Is that, so being paramedics, you know, we know that your cardiac cells are different from every other cell, right? Your cardiac cells they're different from your smooth, your muscles, all the other stuff, right? Because they have this ability called automaticity, right? So automaticity in cardiac cells means they could create their own spark, right? So that's what makes that little wave pattern of your atrium and your ventricles and all that. Yes, right? It's completely different than any other cell in your body, any other muscle cell in our body, right? That's billions of cells in our body, right? Why is the heart so special? Why is the heart so specific? Well, to me, it's because I don't want to get into religion by any means or whatever, but to me, that's our soul.
Okay.
That is where our soul gives our body energy, right? So to me, it's like, man, getting a new heart is bringing someone else's energy into me, right? Bringing someone else's ability
I feel you on
to
that.
start that heart, right?
Yep.
So I believe these stories of like, the little things of like, you're right-handed, this and that, because I truly believe that that person's energy is attached to the heart. You know what I mean? Like I might have been on the road to needing a new liver one day, you know what I mean? Maybe a kidney or something, you know, and I would have taken it. Yeah, you know what? Throw a new liver in me. Like, let's get this party started again, you know? But like the heart is wild to me, right? Because of that, because it could generate its own spark. Where does that come from? It comes from our soul, man, you know? So I was just set on like, I mean, if I were to code and I were to, you know, go under, like like I said, do whatever you got to do to save me. But it's like, if I'm still conscious and I could still make a decision, like, how about we just like,
That wasn't the one you wanted to make.
let's just hold off on, let's see how, because like I truly believe that the human body's amazing, right? And I know that I probably wasn't doing everything proper for my body. I probably wasn't doing everything as healthy as I could be, right?
Right.
So I felt so amazing on the medications in the hospital. Like, let's just let's give the body time to recover. I'm not going anywhere. They put my bed, they turned an alarm on my bed that if I attempted to get off my bed, an alarm would sound. So I couldn't even get off my bed. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm tied in. I got 2 IVs. I have 8 different medications coming. I got 4 on this side, 4 on this side. I'm not going anywhere. Like, let's just hold off on the LVAD, hold off on the, you know, the heart transplant. Let's just see how the human body works, right? So thankfully, they're like, my cardiologist, like, he loved me and hated me at this time, right? Because like I was making like conscious decisions, but I was also like going against everything that he said, you know what I mean? And like, I don't really have family, right? My mom passed away. She was my number one. My father and I don't have a relationship. My sister and I aren't really on good terms either. So it wasn't like I had somebody in there being like, no, don't listen to this idiot.
Yeah.
Do this, and that, you know, and it was me. So I'm like, look, and, you know, they all try to say like, you know, there's a lot that's happened right now. You're going under a lot of stress. Like maybe you're not thinking correctly. And I'm like, no. Don't pull a Jedi mind trick with me. I'm making conscious decisions. I know what's going on. Like, let's just pump the brakes on throwing a dead person's heart in me, right?
Yeah.
So my cardiologist, like I said, is frustrated, but he's an amazing human being. And he's like, all right, let's see. He goes, I'm not saying that you're denying the heart transplant. He's like, I'm just saying we're going to alter our, you know, our route of, you know, helping you, right? He's like, but he goes, this all depends on an MRI tomorrow. He goes, you got to take we got to get an MRI for you. He's like, and we'll see. We'll see how, you know, from the original CT scan and the echocardiogram to we got to see an MRI, right? I go, oh, cool, awesome. We're gonna have a great night. I'm gonna rest. Hopefully I get my phone privileges back so I can like text people and
At
stuff.
least do something.
Yeah, and then and then tomorrow we're gonna hit it. We're gonna get our MRI done. It's gonna be a great day, you know, whatever. So now this is like 3 days into ICU now. So I've lost weight, my pressure and my heart rate have like kind of normalized a little bit. I just feel amazing, you know, this and that. So like today is going to be a good day, right? I wake up, you know, my nurses come in and stuff. They're like, all right, this is what we're going to do. Our game plan is going to be, since you haven't been off of the hospital bed for 3 days, we're going to get you up. We're going to let you take a lap around the floor, the ICU floor, and then we're going to get you ready. We're going to go to the MRI. I go, oh, this is awesome. Hell yes. Like, I was ready to get up off the bed right then and there. And they're like, just wait, you know, whatever. So, like, a few nurses come around. It's like probably noon now. They're like, all right, how do you feel? You feel like you want to take a walk, right? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I want to take a walk. I want to take a walk since I got in here. So I get up, I got two IV poles next to me, 4 IVs, 4 drugs in each one, 8 total. They give me like the little geriatric walker. And the craziest thing is, like, you don't think 3 days is a long time, but I was like, holy crap, like I forgot how to walk. Like, it was wild.
Wow.
Like, I literally was like, I had to make a conscious effort on trying to like, oh my God, like move my legs again. Like, it was crazy. But I did a lap. I'm like, man, this is the best day ever. I got to walk. Like, I'm not on bed locked down. This and that is great. So then, all right, next order of business for the day is this MRI, right? All right, this is awesome, cool. Now they're like, all right, you're ready for your MRI. So we're gonna go down, get you your MRI, you know, this and that. I go, cool, man. It's around like 5 o'clock now, right? So I go, I meet the who does the MRIs? Radiologist? Not
Yes.
Radiologist?
Yeah.
Meet the radiologist, meet the tech. The tech's like some young kid, like, 18, 19-year-old kid, real nice guy. Radiologist is a good dude. They're telling me all this stuff, whatever. This is this. They're like, all right, so we're going to give you this dye. And the dye is to, do this with your heart, illuminate, whatever.
See
this and that.
everything. Yeah.
They're like, are you allergic to anything? I go, I'm not that I know of. I'm not allergic to any medications. I'm not allergic to any, whatever. Not that I know of. They're like, all right, great. So they're telling you, now mind you, I'm 280 pounds. I'm going into this MRI machine. I got a paralyzed right arm, right? So I got this contraption on my right arm. I'm massive. I'm trying to get into this little torpedo chute, right?
Yeah.
But I don't care. I'm not sitting in an ICU bed right now. I'm having the time of my life. I got to walk around. This is the best day ever, right?
Yes.
So it's like I said, it's at 5 o'clock, right? So the radiologist goes, Mike, what? Do you want to listen to some music? I'm like, hell yeah, I do. Of course I do. Like, I haven't listened to music in days, like, because we're not allowed to. And I took my phone away because I kept fucking Googling stupid stuff. Like, yes, I want to listen to this. So he's like, what radio station do you want to listen to? So I'm like, oh, what time is it? He's like, oh, it's 4:55 or whatever. It's not. I go, B96. I go, because I knew the 5 o'clock traffic jam was on, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I just knew it's gonna be constant music, boom, 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 whatever. Like, let's do this. I'm having the best day ever. I'm out of the hospital bed. I'm walking around like, let's go. I'm in a torpedo chute now. Turn on B96. Let me just zone out for, He's like, oh, it'll probably take about a half hour.
Okay.
I go, all right. So my IV's in my left hand. And he tells me, I'll let you know. He's like, we're going to do a couple minutes worth of just initial scans. He's like, and then I'll let you know when the dye that we administer the IV dye, right? Or the, whatever dye.
Yeah,
and your
IV
IV
dye.
So I go, all right, cool. So it starts, and if you've ever been in an MRI, it's so loud. It's just like that, bah, 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 bah. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So then he goes, all right, Mike, we're going to administer the dye. Let me know how you feel. I go, all right, cool. So he goes, you might feel weird. You might feel a little tingling. You might feel cold, right? Cold. So I go, all right, cool. All right, I'm expecting cold in my hand, right? So I hear a little buzz from the machine. It's probably the pump or whatever, this and that. And the fluid goes in. And my hand lights on fire, right? And I go, ooh. I go, that's not cold. He said cold, right? And this burning sensation just is traveling up my left arm, right? Traveling up my left bicep now, traveling up my my left shoulder, right? It hits my chest, and it feels like I got hit in the chest with a flaming baseball bat.
Holy.
My whole chest lights on fire. I take a deep breath in, and I feel like when I was a chubby little kid, I had asthma, right? And I would have asthma attacks every now and then. I would feel that like that you can't breathe, right? It feels like I have like an instant asthma attack, right? Then the burning travels up my neck and hits my face. Oh my God. And it feels like my face just lights on fire, and it feels like I have bees in my nose, right? And all I could do is I start sneezing. So I'm locked in this tube. I'm like 208 pounds, this fucking massive dude. Now I'm on fire. I can't breathe, and I'm just sneezing. Achoo. So I remember I hear the cardiologist or the radiologist come on. He goes, Mike, are you okay? Mike, are you okay? And I'm just sneezing. Achoo. And I finally stop, and I go, I don't think I'm okay. And he goes, what? And I start sneezing. And then I remember taking a deep breath in, and it felt like my lungs closed. I go, get me out of here now. Yeah. And he goes, oh my God. Okay, Mike, hold on. Okay, Mike. And it's like, it feels like it's like molasses coming out of that damn MRI because it's so slow. Like I'm like, get me out of here. I remember I was laying on the table, and I remember the tech coming and looking at my face. Now it feels like my face is on fire, right? But it feels like just everything is pressure. My chest is on fire, my nose is on fire, and it feels like I start to like kind of squint a little bit. I'm not squinting. The room face is squinting, right?
Swelling up.
Yeah, but then you're thinking in the moment, like, what is happening? Like, what is going on? And I remember seeing the tech's face. He looks over and he goes, oh my God. I go, oh my God. I go, what the? Now I can't talk, right? Like my mouth is like swelling, dude. So now I'm like, what do you mean? And
you just get worse and worse.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, move. Like, so they move me over, right? And it was like, like I could care less. They could have grabbed my arms and moved me over. They dragged me over. They pull me back into the room, whatever, this and that. And he goes, go. I don't really know what's happening at this point, right? Like I'm kind of like out of it. Like, what is happening, this and that. And I hear, you guys will understand what this means. And, people listen might understand what this means too, but I hear code blue MRI, code blue MRI, code blue MRI. So of course my dumbass goes, oh shit, someone screwed in there. And I think to myself, I'm like, oh my God, I'm the code blue in MRI. I'm the code blue. Like, I remember there was no other patients in the MRI room when I'm in here. They just called the code blue on me.
Yes.
So then I hear, like, they're yelling at each other, this and that. I'm like, oh my God, I'm having an allergic reaction to this dye. Are you kidding me right now? So then I hear more doctors coming in. Now I can't see. My eyes are legit swollen shut, and I'm like, I feel like I'm breathing through a straw, right? So now I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right. Think back to training, right? Firefighter training, like thinking like, okay, I could not breathe, like I'll be all right, like skip breathing. So skip breathing. So now I'm trying to skip breathe, right? I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Are you kidding me? So then of course I hear like one familiar voice. I hear my nurse, and she yells, is that my Michael? Is that my Michael? And I'm like, oh my God, my nurse is here. Thank God she's here. Like, she'll save me. But then I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking die from an allergic reaction. All the shit that I've done in my life.
Else.
All the fires I've been in, all the car wrecks, all the heart failure, all this stuff. Allergic reaction is going to kill me? An allergen? No way. I'm not going out like this. Like, you got to be kidding me, man. So she's yelling, where's your crash car? Where's your crash car? Where are your drugs at? This and that. I remember the kid, like, I heard the kid say, like, oh, the tackle box. And I'm like, yeah, the tackle box, motherfucker. Get the tackle box now. So he's like, oh, it's right over here. You know, this and that. And now doctors are coming in. I feel people touching me, grabbing me, this and that. Like, people are trying to, like, open my eyes, and my eyes are not opening. Like, I was so swollen shut. So I remember someone saying, where's his IV? Where's his IV? And I remember I was just able to all I could think of, like, how am I going to help in any way, shape, or form. I remember I lifted my arm up. I just lifted my hand up. I had an IV in my left hand. Like, here's my IV. Do something. Like, throw something in there, you know.
Just some Benadryl.
Something, yeah. So they hit me with like 50 milligrams of Benadryl. And I remember my nurse saying, Mike, I'm going to put Benadryl. You're going to feel better. You know, this and that. And then that's the cold sensation now. Now I'm like, oh my God, that should have been the original cold sensation before you gave me the death dye. You know, so then I feel that. So then I don't feel good, but I don't feel any worse at this point, right? So I know, like, okay, maybe it stopped, right? I was waiting for like the epi. Like, maybe give me a little sub-Q epi. Maybe let's go all the bells and whistles.
That takes too long.
Well, that, and plus, like, with my heart, they don't want to give me epi with my heart and all that stuff. So I was kind of like, all right, so it's the only Benadryl. So I remember, like, now it stopped. It stopped getting worse, and I could start breathing a little bit easier. And all I remember is, like, she goes, Mike, you know, I remember feeling her hand on my head. And she goes, are you okay? And I go, fuck no. Like, what is happening? She's like, oh my God. She starts laughing. She goes, what is happening? I'm like, I don't know. You know. So then I remember, respiratory techs came in and stuff like that. I mean, the Code Blue team was there, you know, and I remember somebody asking, do you need anything? Like, do you want water? Do you want this? I go, can I get a breathing treatment? Like, I still couldn't breathe. Like, give me some albuterol. I got to open my lungs up, you know? And they're like, oh, yeah, absolutely. So I remember I was barely able to, like, open my fat lips up to put the neb in, right? And I didn't even have to hold it. Like, I just let the neb sit there. I was like pulling my eyes like open to try to see people. I couldn't see anybody, this and that.
That's so awesome that you knew what to ask for.
It was crazy. Well, yeah, it's like, again, like, you know, just enough to scare the hell out of you, but like, no, not enough to whatever. But yeah, so I was like, I just want to be able to breathe. Like it was those, and it could have been 30 seconds. The whole thing, it felt like 2.5 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it was just so it was so nice that, okay, my face hurt so bad because I was so swollen, and but I'm not getting any worse. And the breathing treatment was helping, this and that. So my nurse is like, we're gonna be here for a minute. I gotta chart all this. I got a doctor. I go, I'm not going anywhere. Where do you want me to go? Like, you kidding me? I was having the best day ever. I was listening to the 5 o'clock traffic jam, and then wham, bam, I get hit with this allergen. You son of a, you know. So I'm just sitting there, just thinking to myself, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, are you for real right now? Like,
I love how you went back to training. I mean, that was like you said, let me skip breathe.
Yeah. No, because I thought, like, I could get through this. I know what to do. I don't need to take huge deep breaths in. I try to cool myself off, like, calm my thinking down. I'm like, skip breathing, man. Yeah. I've never done. At least I never did skip breathing in a fire.
That's
I'm like,
dope.
I'll do it now.
That's what's up.
Now, man.
That's
you know?
what's up.
So she's like, all right, whatever. We're done with the done with the charting. She's like, I'm gonna get you back upstairs, this and that. So if I get up, she wheels me back up to the ICU room, and of course, like all the other nurses are in my ICU room, and they're like, oh my God, we heard code blue MRI, and we're like, Mike's in MRI. I'm like, it was me, but I can't talk because my lips are so swollen and this and that. So. Yeah. So they put me back, hooked me back up to the ICU room. I remember one nurse was leaving for the night. She always come by and say goodnight to me. And I remember she walked in, and she was a pretty good nurse. She walked in and she goes, oh my God. I go, what? She goes, your poor face. I'm like, what's wrong with my face? Because no one said anything, you know what I mean? She goes, it's so swollen. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do about it, She goes and gets an ice pack, right? Fills like one of the bags of ice up this and that. She goes, I'm leaving. She's like, I'll see you tomorrow. Just put this on your face. I'm thinking to myself, I got to sit here with an ice pack on my face now. Like, what is happening? What is happening? So then, obviously MRI was out. So now my cardiologist comes in the next morning. He goes, what did you do in MRI? He's like, what? I get a page that, I go, what do you mean, what did I do? I laid in the tube. I go, my big ass barely fit in the thing.
You broke the entire system.
Yeah. So he's like, this is ridiculous. You should be in this, and that. And now nothing is happening. Nothing's working right. I go, yeah. I go, but how am I doing? Like, how am I, did that screw anything up? I go, did that dye, mess with my heart anymore? Did, this and that? He's like, no. He's like, we're going to run a whole new set of tests today, this and that, whatever. So obviously MRI is now off the table. So now we got to revisit the conversation of, what, are we going to do? Are we doing this LVAD? Are we going to move forward with the LVAD? Or are we just going to, kind of let your body heal and this and that? So we were able to revisit the conversation, and it was nice that we went with, let's just see how the body works, right? So I'm 33, I already said I'm med compliant. Like at that point, I actually quit drinking prior to this. That's a funny story too. Anything in the fire service, drinking is all over everything, right? So I definitely partook in that. But throughout, starting to feel sick, starting to feel ill, getting in trouble with booze and stuff like that. Like I thought to myself, you know what, I got to quit drinking until I figure out what's going on. And then, I'll, start back up, or we'll figure it out back then. And I was actually, the last time I ever had a drink, it was actually recent. It was November 13th of 2013, right? Okay. 11/13/13. So I remember I was still hungover from going out for a Bears game. Bears played the Lions on Sunday, and I had a date on Wednesday. So I met this lady at just this dive bar on Western Avenue, or on Milwaukee, right off of where I live. And I remember I just felt so sick. I'm like, wow, I just feel horrible. I remember I got some who knows, some microbrew, whatever you find on some dive bar in Milwaukee Avenue, you know. And I remember taking a sip, and I'm just like, what am I doing? I feel horrible. I need to quit drinking, right? I got to stop drinking, and I figure out what's going on with my life, this, and that. And I felt bad because it was the first date. So the whole time the lady's telling me stories and stuff and talking, and the whole time I'm just sitting here looking at this pint of beer, and I'm sipping it, just being I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I can't live like this anymore, right? Little did I know what I was walking into. But so then, every cardiologist also asked me, how long did I smoke for? How long have you smoked for? And I said I never smoked a cigarette a day in my life. I have no idea why. I never picked up smoking as a habit, but that was their number one thing. And I was kind of boasting that, I'm like, oh, I quit drinking in November too,
we're not worried about that.
They're like, we don't care about it. We don't care. Congratulations, but we don't care about that. I'm like, no, but I quit drinking too. Look how good I am. So, luckily I was able to have the conversation with my cardiologist. Look, I'm going to be focused on my life, about my health, about everything. Trust me. If I make it out of here alive, I'm going to change everything.
If you guys don't take me out with allergies.
Well, right. Yeah. As long as I don't have to go back in that MRI tube and you put that poison in me, I'm going to do everything I can for myself, Right. So I was very fortunate. I did 5 days in the ICU, and then my labs and stuff like that recovered enough to where, they're like, all right, we're gonna transfer you. There's nothing more we could do for you in the ICU. We'll transfer you to cardiac floor. So I got transferred to the cardiac floor, which is amazing because now I'm able to get up. I'm able to use the washroom. I had a private room, and I had a bathroom in my room. I thought that was the greatest thing ever, And being transferred there, like it was nice. The nurses were amazing when they wheeled me out, like they were playing music and stuff. Like it was real cool. So I got into my cardiac floor, and it was real. I mean, it was a completely different experience because now it was just pretty much just like, we're just going to watch you. You know what I mean? Like ICU was like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, we're going to, whatever. Now cardiac floor is like, we're just going to see. We're going to see how your body does with the meds and see where you go with this. So the cardiac floor was real chill. I spent 5 days on the cardiac floor, and then they said, we're gonna release you. We're gonna send you home. So they what they wanted to do is they wanted to do implanted cardiac defibrillator and pacemaker in my chest, but they held off on that. And what they said the compromise to that was, because I didn't want that in my chest either. Like I want to have an active life for the rest of my life. Like, because I already had plans that I was going to do this. I was already going to, in my head, I was going to lose 100 pounds and I was going to be this active guy, whatever, this and that. Little was I thinking of like, how sick I really was. Like I already had a game plan, and I'm like, man, a game plan. Like I can't have a
defibrillator and a pacemaker.
Defibrillator. Like,
right.
I'm single. What if I meet a nice young lady and I got to explain that to her? Like, that's creepy. Like, you don't want to do that. So the compromise to that was that I had to wear a life pack for like 9 months. So a life pack is an external defibrillator. Mm-hmm. So what it is it's pretty much a bra with electrodes and defibrillation pads and a battery pack that I had to walk around with for all day, 24 hours. Mm-hmm. Like I was the only time I was allowed to take off the life vest was for showers. Right? Yeah. So I'm like, at this point, I don't care. Put the bra on me. I'll wear a bra. I don't care. It looks like I got a purse, and it looks like I have, like, the bra straps on me. I'm like, I'm in Chicago. Who cares? Like, people don't judge each other here. Like, it's all good.
Exactly.
So, like, the lady comes in, and she explains the system to me, this and that, whatever. And she's like, she kind of briefly mentions, she's like, you might get false alarms. Like, the system will go off. She goes, you have, like, 10 seconds to disarm it. Mm-hmm. If you don't disarm it, it's going to defibrillate you. And I go, are you for real? Like, shock me, right? And she's like, yeah. She's like, yeah. Well, I go, all right. Like, I go, what are the chances? Like, how often? I go, what if I'm asleep? She goes,
that's
no.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
What if you sleep?
Well, she said that the alarm, she goes, if, right? Big if it does actually happen, it's ear piercing. So the alarm goes off for like 3 or 4 seconds, and then a secondary alarm kicks in, and it's like a siren, right? And then she said on the secondary alarm kicks in, like you get little, there's the pads have little vibrators in them.
They
so
start
like,
heating up.
Well, it like vibrates you. So it's kind of like a buzz, right? So she's like, there's literally no way you can.
No, I mean like heating up, like getting ready to go.
Yeah, because it's gonna defibrillate. It's gonna weld your chest, So I was like, all right, get this on, whatever, this and that. So my cardiologist comes in to discharge me and stuff. And I was kind of like, the entire time, the 10 days I was there, no one ever mentioned the blood clots again. Right. So now I'm leaving, and I'm on blood thinners. I was on 8 different medications. Right. So one of them is blood thinners. So I figured like that was for the blood clots, But I was like, as we're leaving, I get all these discharge paperwork, all these instructions and stuff like that. I go, you guys don't understand, like, I'm going to change everything. Like, it's a whole new world. I already had the get right with God conversation multiple times in my stay here. Mm-hmm. So it's all good. But then I was like, hey, I got a question. I go, what are we doing about the blood clots? Mm-hmm. And they're kind of just like, I go, all right, hold on. Let me answer. I go, we'll just say like maybe in a year, if I don't throw a clot, like have a lethal PEA, have a heart attack, or throw a stroke or like in my brain, like we'll just assume that the blood clot's dissolved. And they kind of were like, sure, yeah, that's what we're gonna. I go, okay, we got a game plan. Like, let's go. Get me the hell out of here. Yeah. Like Joe White came and picked me up in his white Bronco and got me home. Tom Serban had my dog. Just shout out to those guys. Like, I mean, Pete Mazzone and Ed Frolich, those guys were such a pivotal part, and all of that was going on in my life right then and there. Like, I had some pretty incredible people that were helping me out. Rich Pinsky with Ignite the Spirit was amazing too. He helped me out so much. But yeah, so excuse me. I get home now. Tom still had my dog, right? And I love Capone to death. I love my dog to death, but he could be a handful of times. So like, I text Tom. I was like, hey man, would it be horrible if you just kept him for a couple of days so I could just figure out
just a little while?
Yeah, like let me just reacclimate to life, without having this the 85-pound hammerhead headbutting me all day, you know, jumping on me all day and stuff. And he's like, yeah, of course, you know. So that night was pretty chill. I went to bed. The next night, next day, whatever, you know, like there was just so much going on right then in life. Like I still haven't really processed even my mom passing away, right? I mean, my mom died holding my hand, right? So it was like, I need to like just zone out and like take all this in. You know what I mean? Like now it's I need to evaluate my entire life, reevaluate my entire life, and just absorb everything that's happened. Like I really haven't had time to think about everything that's happened, right? So it's like, let's do this, you know. So you know, it was a good day. I chilled most of the day, you know, watched TV, kind of zoned out, whatever, this and that. And then in the evening, I remember I turned the evening news on, so it was like maybe 5:30, and I get up and I walk over to the refrigerator, and all of a sudden my life vest alarm goes off, right? So it's like, bop, 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 and I'm like, what the? What? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I feel fine. And then I'm like, wait, what was I supposed to do to disarm it? Because you have to do like 2 different things at the same time for X amount of time to disarm it before it welds you, before it defibrillates you, right? So I'm like grabbing this box and stuff and this and that. And I'm like, okay, I got to push these 2 buttons here, and I got to hold them in together. I got to do this and that. So I'm holding it, right? So I'm holding it. Now the secondary alarm kicks in. So now it starts screaming, wah, 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 and then my chest is vibrating. And I'm like, I'm doing what I was told to do. Why isn't it stopping? This and that. All of a sudden, it just kills, right? It stops. So I was like, oh my God, what happened? I'm like, am I dying? Because they're like, it will defibrillate you if you go into a lethal arrhythmia, right? So I'm like, I'm not in a lethal arrhythmia. I'm okay.
I'm fine.
So I'm like checking my pulse and stuff. I'm like, no, okay. So now I got to sit down because now my heart rate
through the roof.
Yeah. My blood pressure must be through the roof, and now I'm terrified, right? Yeah. I'm alone. I live alone. I don't even have my dog. Like, I can't even be like, come here, buddy. Come here and give me kisses. You know, like, I got nothing. I'm all alone in this apartment, right? And I live in, like, an old warehouse-style building, so it's, like, a creepy kind of... It can be beautiful, obviously, but it could also be like creepy in the right setting. Like this is terrifying right now. It's dark. Yeah. It's like the news is on, so you know the news in Chicago sucks because it's all just horrible, miserable, whatever. So now I'm like, this is what happened. So I'm calling my nurse. I'm texting my nurse. I'm calling my nurse. No one's answering. I call my cardiologist. Like I call his office. It's 5:30. No one's there. Like I call. He's told me. He goes, I'm gonna give you my cell phone for absolute emergencies only, right? And I'm like, I ain't ever gonna call you. I ain't bothering you. Nothing is an emergency to me. I'm a big tough guy. Remember, I'm a firefighter paramedic. I'm tough, right? 33 years old. I'm king of the world. I'm calling him like a little kid. You better answer, you son of a bitch. You better answer. Doesn't answer. I'm like, this guy, I'm calling you right back. I'm gonna double call you. I'm gonna triple call you. I will call you until your ass answers this phone, right? Yes. So he finally answers. He's like, Mike, what's wrong? I'm like, oh, fuck, the machine went off. I'm like, I'm just standing at my refrigerator. The machine goes out. He goes, whoa. Did you get defibrillated? I go, do you think I'd be conscious right now talking to you if I got defibrillated? I go, no, I hit the kill switch, man. I go, what happened? He goes, oh, Mike, relax. He goes, it's not a perfect science. He's like, it goes off all the time. I go, what are you talking about? It goes off all the time. What did you put on me, ass? Like, are you kidding me? Like, you couldn't have given me a heads up? Like, look, this thing's going to go off 15 times a day. Don't worry about it, you know?
Scare you.
That's good. Talk about terrified now, right? So now it's like I'd be at the grocery store and the machine would just start going off, and I'm like, oh, here we go again. Just hit the kill switch, no big deal. Everyone around me is like, what the hell just happened? It's no big deal. It's just my defibrillator I gotta wear. It's no big deal, really.
It's just my Braun purse.
Yeah, it's just exactly. Yeah, this is my purse that it will defibrillate me if it goes off. You know, it was crazy, man. But so then, like, you know, at that point, you know, like it took a couple of days to process everything and try to like get a hold of, you know, everything that's going on. And so like I got my dog back, and now I'm like, man, I gotta reevaluate my entire life, right? Mm-hmm. So like with the fire department, so now I'm in congestive heart failure, right? So they diagnosed me with dilated cardiomyopathy. I was in acute failure, obviously, then. Now it's been a few years, and now I'm just kind of but I'm carried as a heart failure patient. We're kind of like, you know, steady as we go. But at the time, like, you know, they still thought I was very like fragile in a sense that I could be sudden. I mean, I wore the life vest because they were afraid of sudden cardiac arrest, you know, anytime, anywhere, whatever. So, but this was the time. Now I'm like, all right, I had that get right with God conversation, and you know, like now it's time to start. You know what I mean? Like I don't get to put anything off anymore. Like now everything I said in the hospital I was gonna do, it's time to do it. So, you know, it was tough. Like realizing everything. I mean, my arm was still paralyzed, so. You know, like I was told that was a career-ending injury, and now I'm in congestive heart failure, and obviously, you know, I was told that is a career-ending disability, right? So I got to think about life, right? I got to get my health on track. I got to get my physical, you know, ability on track. But now I have to start realizing that my dream is gone, right?
Yeah.
So now, I like we talked about earlier. I never had a plan B, right? And you know. Maybe having a plan B is good in life. Maybe having a plan B is not good in life because that sets you up for failure, right? So if we don't have a plan B, it's plan A and that's it. And that's how I live my life. It's plan A and that's it, right? So I accomplished plan A. So now at 33, you know, at the time, with no plan B and not really a great outlook with the fire department at that moment, at that time, what am I doing? What am I going to do with my life, right? And the problem at that time was that I didn't value myself as anything other than a Chicago firefighter paramedic. Like taking that away from me now, I had no identity. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life, right? So I'll be honest, like, you know, I'd love to say that, you know, everything's sunshine and roses and rainbows, whatever, but like it was tough, man. Like it was hard to digest that. It was hard to accept that because I didn't value anything in myself other than that, right? So now when you take that away, what do I have inside? I had nothing, right?
Right.
I didn't value myself for anything. So now I have to figure out what am I going to do? And with a few other things going on at the time, like, you know, legal stuff and department stuff and now this health stuff and stuff, you know, like, I mean, it wasn't great every day. Right? Like I had a lot of dark days. I had a lot of dark hours. I had a lot of dark times alone to figure, or, you know, with my thoughts and stuff to you know, that might not have been the best, but, you know, I needed it, right? So I needed to figure out that what else am I going to do in my life? Like, where am I going to go with this? And through all those dark times and through all those dark thoughts, like I started to value myself. Like I started to value myself as a human, not as a thing anymore.
There
like,
you go. Yeah.
I only valued myself as a Chicago firefighter paramedic, right? And I was there and I was the best of the best and at the best of the best. And now that's all gone, right? So what am I now? And for a long time, I was nothing. Sorry.
Nope, that's perfect. It's okay, and this is exactly why I wanted you here.
Yeah,
This
it's
is exactly why I wanted you here.
Because I invested so much value into something that could be taken away that I never invested any value in myself, right? And I needed to start realizing that there's more to life than that, in a sense, and I needed to start finding who I truly was, and who I truly am, and what you know, what I was here to do and why I'm here. Not what I'm here to do. I still don't think I really know what I'm here to do, but why I'm here. And I'm here for a reason, right? I think we're all here for a reason. And no matter who you are and what your story is, you know, like we're all here for a reason. And I think if people value themselves more, just as an individual, just as like whatever, you know, they love every day, and put value in that instead of a title, instead of, you know, something, you know what I mean? I think people would start realizing that, you know, like life is pretty fucking awesome. Like life is pretty beautiful.
There you go.
Like instead of, it sucks not being able to be a Chicago firefighter anymore. You know what I mean? And it was amazing and stuff, but it's like, man, since then, you know, I've done things and I've accomplished things that I never would have even imagined or thought of doing. You know what I mean? And like, I think that's part, or maybe the entire reason why I'm here right now, is because like, you know, like I want to, even through those dark times, like I still always at least one day thought of something positive, or thought about something good, or thought about something I'm going to do. Right. So I started working on myself day one. I changed my diet. Obviously I couldn't really work out I didn't want to work out a lot because I was scared of my heart. Right?
Yeah, you got to.
So I would do little things, little workouts, whatever this and that, and I, it was all diet. A ton was diet. So I downloaded like calorie counter apps and food apps and stuff like that, and I just said, you know what, like anything I do, I go full throttle. Like,
That's usually the fireman way.
Yeah,
no matter
right,
what
yeah,
we
you know
do,
what I mean? Like
we
whatever,
pick it
like,
up.
that's it. We're
Doesn't
gonna
matter
go. We're gonna go
what we do.
Yeah,
Full
throttle,
throttle.
right at it. So I was like, you know
Drinks,
what?
you owe
Now,
me a Coke.
yeah, I got some Coke. Coke, too much sugar in Coke, man. You can't drink it.
0.
So yeah, there you go. So it's like that's where like this started. Like I was gonna start my diet, and my diet, you know, I started portion control. I started doing this. I started doing that. And I started watching every single thing I ate because of my heart now, right? And I saw by weeks, by days, like I was losing weight. I was losing, 3 pounds a week, 4 pounds a week. 5.4 pounds was the most I lost. 1.3 pounds was the least I lost, but it was every week. And I'm like, this is it. This is what I got to do now. This is what I got to focus on now. And throughout that, I started working out proper, intelligently, not just lifting as heavy as I could, throwing dumb weight around to be big and stuff, big and strong. I started working out properly. Like, I went and we talked about this a few times, I became a certified personal trainer with National Academy of Sports Medicine because I wanted to learn. I didn't want to just work out. I wanted to learn why am I working out the way I'm working out, right? And just like we talked about it, I want to learn everything about it. So I became a NASM CPT, and then I randomly just one day I showed up to a core power yoga, and I thought I needed a new physical challenge because I can't lift
Can't go
weights
heavy
anymore. Yeah. So who am I? This bald-headed, covered in tattooed meathead walks into a core power. Like, I don't know anybody that does yoga. I never met somebody that did yoga. I walk into core power yoga. I'm like, hey, I want to take a yoga class, They're an awesome community, very nice community. And they invite me in, and I fall in love with yoga. So, of course, like I am, I want to learn everything I can do.
Full throttle yoga.
I go to yoga teacher training, So now I'm a registered yoga teacher, 200-hour cert, you know what I mean? Like, let's do this, So I got a job as a personal trainer at, a big name gym in the city. I did that for a little bit, and it's like, if I could use my story to help somebody else, like, let's do it. Let's get on board.
Can
you know what I mean?
Just say 280.
Well, I know, 280. And now, I got down to like 153 pounds. I was little too light. Little too small.
Yeah.
So then now I'm at like 170 now. So I'm still 110 pounds down, like from what I was. I'm maintaining, I think, well at this, but I'm still
awesome.
crazy about my diet, my meals. I do get crazy. Actually, Sundays are my cheat meals now. So after the show,
now what's the cheat meal?
I mean, like, sometimes you get crazy,
crazy,
I could put a whole pizza away. I'm not
Okay,
scared of.
there you go.
I'm not scared of that.
All right,
a big burger and fries, whatever.
I see you with the burgers. I do see it.
Yeah, but
the
that's
thing, go ahead.
No. That's like my
That
crazy
one day.
night out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what's up. It's just maybe I'll make a giant plate of nachos tonight. I don't know, bro. The possibilities are endless.
The sushi rolls that you make
That's
are
good.
off the chain.
That's fun. Yeah.
And you know what? That's the one thing we still have to get to and talk about. We gotta talk about this art.
Yeah.
So you're an artiste when it comes to that chefing and you making those nice plates and they look phenomenal. But really, as an artist, and you have that creative side, you said that's kind of something your mother wanted to push you towards.
Right.
Tell me about your art.
So art started, as I was a kid, I used to love to draw, right? Like, I would draw comic book heroes, comic characters. Like, I loved it, right? And then I went, I took art class in high school because it was a prerequisite to graduate, whatever. And I remember my art teacher loved all of my art. Like, I'll never forget him, Mr. Abbott. The guy was a riot. And I remember he wanted me to or submit my work in like the District 214 art contest, right? I was like, no, I don't want to do that because I'm a big tough guy, right? I'll just keep referencing that because I'm such a big tough guy.
I have a surprise for you at the end.
You can tell me I'm a big tough guy.
I'm just saying.
Be like, I can't. I've never had a more tough guy on the show than me. That's cool.
Just gotta wait to the end.
I can't wait. So like, you know, I played all the sports. I was in football, wrestled, did track and shot put. I remember the first time I threw a discus, I qualified for the whatever. The
And you used to be a big pickup guy.
for
No, strength, because like
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember
like,
when
I
I
used
would
to
see
just
you
love-
out,
yeah.
like, oh, hey,
oh yeah,
hug,
bear
and
hugs,
then
man. Like
pick
I'm still a bear hug and like
and pick
I
me
was-
up and swing me around.
Yeah, I was like the the 1996 bear hug champion of the Midwest.
There
know
you
what I mean?
go.
Like, yeah. So Husky division because I was a chubby kid. But yeah. So so I always played sports and stuff, and I was with all the teams and stuff. So art was kind of like my little escape from everybody, right? Like no one knew. I didn't share it with anybody. Like it was my own little thing, right? So to have my art teacher want to submit my pieces and work into that was like, no, it's cool, you know, like I don't want to do that because like that's my own little secret thing, right? So I remember one day he it was like one of the last days of class, and he had this like easel set up and this board set up, and he had a sheet over it, and he came in and he was just like, oh, he was so excited. He's like, oh my God, I want to tell everybody. He's like, we have a winner in our class.
That's what's
He's
up.
like, you know, I submitted multiple works to the District 214, you know, art challenge, blah, blah, whatever this night. He's like, oh my God, like out of everybody, we have a winner. And I was thinking to myself, like, what nerd in here won this? Like all these like art people come in there like they love art, right? They live and breathe art, you know. And me, I was like, I had my football jersey on, like, you know, whatever. I'm a big tough guy. So he flips the sheet up, and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, that's mine. And I'm like, oh my God, that's two of mine. I'm like, and then I'm like, oh, you son of a, I told you no. Like, I told you. And he's like, it's Michael Spencer. I'm so excited. I'm like, you asshole. No. I'm like, this is stupid. You know, why'd you do this? I don't want to do this. And then, like, you know, like, oh, you could see other kids in class are like, oh my God, this guy's such an ass. Stupid meathead knows how to draw. Like, screw him. Like, I live and breathe art. I put my soul into this.
And he just
here's this-
here for show.
Yeah,
He's
here's
just
this
hanging out.
idiot that likes to get punched in the head. Stupid guy can't even spell art, you know. And I'm like, oh, it's awesome. So I actually won with that. Like, I won an opportunity to draw for the admissions board with the Art Institute. But because, you know, I had my goal, I had my plan A in life, I was like, nah, I'm like, Art Institute ain't for me. Like, what is Art Institute gonna do for me, right? I'm gonna be a big Chicago firefighter, man. I'm gonna be this badass, right? I don't need that. So then I decided to go to University of Iowa, and then we know how that played out.
Yeah.
We talked about that. But so now I have all this time in my hands, right? So I wanted to just pick up painting. I wanted to, like, you know, being in the city of Chicago and not just like living in the city, but working for the city, we all know how much the Chicago flag means to us, right?
Yes.
Not just us, but the people here. You know, the stars mean something. The blue lines mean something. Everything means something. It's so cool, I think, and so many people relate to the Chicago flag. I mean, guys get it tattooed on them. Guys have it hanging in their, you know, living rooms and stuff like that. I was like, you know what? I got to get into a hobby in a sense. I'm going to start painting the Chicago flag. So I started with just like little 24-inch by 8-inch canvases, and I painted the Chicago flag lines, and I did the stars, and I posted on my Instagram and Facebook at the time. And people would be like, "Oh my God, I'll take that! Like, I'll take that. I want that." You know? Oh, get out of here! Really? You want something I painted? Get out! All right, I'm gonna do another one. Watch this. I'm gonna do another one. So then I remember I was on Joe's boat. It was actually July 4th. I took a picture of this. We were out on Lake Michigan, and I took a picture of the skyline. And it was like a silhouette pic because the sun was going down and the buildings just looked so cool, right? I remember taking a picture on my phone, and this was obviously years prior. And I looked at it, and I go, man, I bet I could paint that one day, right? So now fast forward to this, I'm like, I'm gonna buy a bigger canvas, and I'm gonna paint the skyline. So I looked at it, and, like, you know, as a kid, I was able to look at a comic book hero and just draw it, right? Just freehand, eyeball it, draw it, whatever, and this and that. So I'm like, I think I could do this. So I'm on my phone, and I got the canvas, and I just sketched the buildings out on the canvas, and I'm like, yeah, that looks pretty good. Like, let's paint. And it was just solid black, like just black building. And then I did like the gold or yellow behind it as the sunset, this and that. I remember I posted a picture of it, and I remember someone's like, "Oh, it's so cool! Like, oh, let me buy that from you." You know, I was like, "Wait a second, you want to give me money for that? Like, for real? All right, you know, sure, yeah, come on by.
For reals?
Yeah. And it was like just acrylics. Like I didn't do anything crazy. It was just acrylic paint, acrylics dry in like 5 minutes or whatever. And it's done. I'm like, you come over and pick it up anytime you want. Like it's ready to go.
Yeah.
Let me sign it because I'm this big artist, like, and
Like
artists.
I said, you're an artiste.
Yeah, right. That still makes just weird, So then, like, as we were talking about, anything that I got into and we get into in the firefighter mentality is like, well, let's see where I could go with it. Like, let's learn a little bit. Let's go with it, and let's see how far I could go. So I did a lot of like skylines, and I want to get like, well, let's see if I could add some like dimension into the building instead of just flat black. Like let's get some dimension into it. And all right, now I'm going to do this. And then I kept getting people sending me requests for like, oh, can you paint my dog? Or, oh, can you paint a portrait of a family member that passed away and stuff like that? And I was always like, no. That's what real artists do. Like, I'm just going to paint buildings. Maybe I'll throw the Chicago flag behind it, and, like, that's it. Like, I'm not getting crazy. You know what I mean? Because I'm not an artist, So, like, in my mentality, in my mind. So then I was like, finally one day.
I'm here to tell you are.
But well, I appreciate you, man. But then one day I'm like, I started doing pieces for charities, like Ignite the Spirit for the silent auctions and stuff like that. So one charity that I used to volunteer for is called Tickled Pink. It is a breast cancer awareness charity. Obviously, with my mom passing away from cancer research and anything I could do to help cancer funding is huge to me, right? So I was asked to do a painting for it, and my friend asked, can you do a portrait? And I was like, well, you know what, F it, I'll try. I'll see what I could do. Like, maybe how about Marilyn Monroe?
Yep, I saw that one.
Yeah, and she's like, oh my God, absolutely, So I go, all right, cool. So it was acrylic, and it was nothing. I mean, I think it was nothing special, I really liked Andy Warhol. Growing up, like as a kid, I liked Warhol. I liked Vincent Van Gogh, right? So I was like, well, you know what? I think I could do a Warhol-esque kind of silhouette kind of Marilyn Monroe piece, right? So let's do this. So I did that, and I think it looked pretty good. And I remember I went to Tickle Pink's like headquarters or whatever office, and I remember I was dropping it off. So the event was, whatever, next weekend or some whatever, this and that. And I remember the lady that came to the door. My friend wasn't there. She was off doing whatever. So she's like, oh, ask for so-and-so, this and that. Oh, cool. So the lady answered the door, and I go, hey, what's up? My name's Michael. I'm dropping off a gift for the silent auction. So she goes, okay, what do you got? So I hand it to her, and it was just like a 20 by 20, nothing crazy, this and that. She goes, oh, my God. She goes, this is amazing. She goes, where'd you get this? I go, get it? I go, I didn't get it anywhere. I did it. And she goes, wait a second. She goes, you did this? And then I was kind of like, what are you trying to say, lady?
Right.
Like, what does that mean? Like, what? Because I'm just some meathead looking dude. I can't do that. You know? And I'm like, yes, ma'am. I painted that. She's like, oh my God, this is amazing. This and that. I was like, yeah. Well, I hope it raises a bunch of money and this and that. Blah. She's like, oh, what do you want for it? I go, I don't want anything for it. She goes, well, hold on, we didn't give you any. I go, no, I don't want anything. Just take it. Like, I hope. I mean, to me, like the whole point of donating to a charity is that you want the charity to get a max amount of money. Like, I can't be like, well, I want $200, and if it makes $203, I can't be like, hey, I feel so good, I raised $3 for that. You know what I mean? Like, no, like take it all, get as much money as you can, and like, run with it. Whatever.
That's what's up, dude.
So then, like, I was kind of like, it was such a hit, like, I'm like, oh man, like I should start doing that. Like maybe I could start like donating paintings. Cause like I can't reach in my pocket and give you $500, but if I donate a painting and it brings in $500 or $600, like to me that's blows my mind.
Yeah,
like it was just, I was just sitting in my living room painting, and now this is gonna bring in this much money. So like, Brendan Byrne, Brendan on the fire department, he works with some charities. I remember I did a Chicago skyline with a flag behind it. It was nothing wild. And I remember I gave it to his charity. I remember he texted me the next day and he was like, dude, you'll never believe this. Like, your painting brought in X amount of money. This now. I can't believe that. This now. Like, yeah, we brought in that much. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what was it? Like, were people real liquored up? Like, how did they get that out? He's like, no, man. He's like, everyone was talking about it. I go, holy crap, man. It was so cool. It was such a good feeling. I was like, man, this is wild. Like, I want to paint and just give to as many charities as I can and like see if I can get that reaction. Like that to me was like the coolest feeling ever, you know?
Yeah.
So like with the Stash Bash every year, like I try to get a painting to the Stash Bash. So I did I have Starry Night tattooed on my hands.
Yep.
So I did a Starry Night with Chicago skyline, right? And I go to the Stash Bash because it's such a wild party. It's so much fun, you know? So I remember there was like, it turned into like a bidding war over that painting. And I remember the guy that, he was a West Side guy, and whoever else was in this bidding war, and it's going up and up and up, like hundreds of dollars. And I'm like, dude, I'll just paint you another one. Like, will you stop doing this? He's like, no, fuck that. I'm winning this today. Like, I don't care who it is. I'll put 500. I'm like, you gotta stop,
You're
guy.
right.
Like, he was kind of drunk, you know, this and that. Now I'm kind of feeling guilty, but I'm like, no, keep going, man. Like,
Hey, they need it.
Why not, right?
Exactly.
But the whole time I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I'll paint you one.
Yeah,
Like, it's
I'll
all
make
good,
you
man.
another
Like, yeah,
one.
let them win it.
Nah,
no, it was
the
that
first one.
competition, man.
The
You know,
first one.
yeah. So it was cool to see that. So now it's like, I mean, now I started with, or like after that Marilyn Monroe piece, like I was like, well, you know what? I bet I could do it better. I bet I could make it a little bit better. And then I was so terrified of going from acrylics to oils because oils, like, that's big time now, right? That's like,
Me too.
that's like real,
Yeah.
that's real artist. And I'm not a real artist, and only real artists mess with oils, you know? But I got so much, I don't want to say flack, but I got so much like criticism, I guess, in a sense. I don't want to say negative criticism, but criticism in the sense of I was always working with acrylics that, you know, I was told a few times, like, no one will take you serious as an artist if you only work with acrylics or this and that. It's got to be oil, you know, whatever, blah, 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 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to attempt, never worked with oils before, right? So I'm like, screw it. I'll try oils, you know? And actually the first set of oil paint that I got was actually from Patrick Fitzmaurice. Yeah, the one guy I did a portrait for today.
Yeah.
And I was actually allergic to the paint
Uh-oh.
because it was so toxic.
It's them dyes again.
I was in
taking yourself out.
right. I was in my bedroom and I'm like, you know, I've set this, like, I put like a little A-frame ladder up because I don't have easels or nothing, you know. Set it up and I was gonna do a rose for my mom. That's what I was gonna paint, a rose just for my mom, you know, this and that. And I remember I started painting and I was like, holy crap, I'm sneezing, my nose is all stuffed up, this and that. I go, what the
At least it
hell?
wasn't injected into
Well,
you
right,
this
yeah,
time.
exactly, yeah. Now I'm like a allergic reaction expert now, right? So I go, what the heck? I had to open up the, you know, my windows and stuff, this and that. So I text him. I go, I don't know what's up with your paints, man, this and that. And he's like, I go, why did you get rid of them? Why did your wife get rid of them? He goes, my wife got rid of them because she's allergic to them. I'm like, you gave them to me. I'm allergic to them too, man. You know. So I ended up getting different oils out there that obviously I'm not allergic to. So I took the leap and now I do a lot, mostly portraits now, but I'll still do some skylines and stuff, whatever subject anybody wants really. But I now I've made the shift to all oil. So
Okay, that's what's up.
it's pretty cool. It's cool
Because I
to
saw the Sinatra.
go, over the city skyline.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hanging up in my on my wall.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
I
It was
like
a
that.
cool
You
piece.
got-
Yeah.
Like I said, your account is what made me, because you just so positive, and
Yeah.
so
I'm
I
something.
know a lot now why. Well, positive is the
Yeah.
thing, because you know a lot of times we got to push through and get through to the next day and make
Sure.
something happen.
Yeah.
And for me, at least, seeing you and now knowing this extra story go along with it, that's like the extra push, because it's like if I can't get up and do nothing. This dude ain't had no hand.
Right.
He lost his mom.
Right.
He almost died a couple of times
Yeah.
from no fault. And wasn't like he was
From-
out doing anything
Right, yeah,
crazy. And
yeah.
like, well, that's what you get type of
Right,
situation.
yeah,
You was
yeah.
just living life.
Just being here,
Yeah.
I just existed. But yeah, it's wild, man. Like I said, it's not all sunshines and rainbows and stuff. Like there definitely was a lot of hard time. There still is. I mean, there's still times where, like, you know, even questioning, you know, what I'm doing with my life now and you know where I'm going with my life and what am I doing and stuff like that. Like there's still a lot of uncertainty. There's still a lot of, you know, scary thoughts and terror and sense. Like, I mean, it's not all, you know, perfect, but I'm glad that, you know, if you look at my Instagram account, like that's the only social media I have. So I'm glad that you and I are following each other, because like just seeing that, like I'm glad that it comes off as that, because like that's very important, man. Like I need my daily motivation, and I need, you know, people that I need to see in my life that inspire me to get up and go and, you know, So to say that, you know, you look at my account and see something like that, man, that makes me feel good, dude, you know, because it's important in life to have that. But
you're doing an excellent job. It's just the thing about it. You said so many things. I was like writing down all this stuff that you said because, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, it's kind of like life after fire. What do you do outside of fire? What if fire just, you know, your plan A turns into a different plan? You got to go somewhere else. But value yourself. That stands out to me as so profound because that's what I think a lot of us people don't do. And, you know, we're employees. We call ourselves employees, public safety employees. And at the end of the day, you have to value what you bring to the table before. And the other thing made me think about is the airplane. I always think about you got to help yourself before you help somebody else.
Right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you don't value you, how
Right.
are you going to expect the people in the public out there to do the same thing?
Right. Right.
So that was great. I appreciate you coming. Oh, I said I had a present for you.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Don't forget that.
It's just a work present, but
All right.
you keep alluding to the fact that you're a big badass.
Oh, yeah. I'm such a tough
fire
guy.
guy, big
Oh,
tough
yeah,
guy.
such a tough
I
guy.
feel like you are. You had that EF of 11.
Yeah.
Like, come
Yeah.
on, man. And you got hit with the allergen
Right.
in the tube. You lost all that weight.
Yeah.
The fact that you are around from all of that shows how big of a badass guy that you still are. Not used to be. Not I'm 33. No,
right,
dude,
right.
you are the epitome of a badass guy. Said 11.
Yeah, it was my EF was 11, and my last. So I get my echoes every year and stuff, and my blood work is always on point, and obviously I feel amazing. I was on 8 medications when I left the hospital. I'm down to 3. Those 3 I'll be on for the rest of my life, which I'm perfectly fine with. But my last EF was 55 to 60, which is normal operating range.
That's where
yeah. So
you were walking around with 11, just out
Right.
here kicking it.
Right. Like so every cardiologist, and this impacted me a lot too when I was in the hospital. Every cardiologist said, we don't know why you're alive. And every cardiologist said, you should not be alive. So, sorry. So
No, miss.
hearing that over and over and over, I mean, literally every single cardiologist said, we don't know why you're alive. We don't know why you're here. You should not be here. We don't know why you're alive. People just don't wake up with EFs of 11. You know what I mean? Like, that hit me so hard. Like, holy shit, man. Like, I need to start not just valuing myself, but valuing life and valuing every single day I'm here. You know, like, I get cheesy with, like, motivational videos and stuff. Like, I think we all need motivational videos. Like, I mean, some, you know, people that I love to watch videos are E.T. I love E.T. I love C.T. Fletcher. Like, I mean, he's a little intense and swears a lot, but he's awesome, man. He's got a cardiac history. He actually just had a heart transplant himself, you know. So it's like to relate to somebody and to watch those motivational videos and stuff. And one thing I two quotes I think about a lot are you know, one of them is I might screw it up, but I'll try to get it right. It's someone is laying in a hospital bed, you know, wishing they had the opportunities you had right now. You know what I mean? Like, that to me was like impactful for me because I was that guy in the hospital bed,
Right.
thinking about what am I going to do when I'm out? And if I like I named a couple names and I had those people in my life that helped me. And like, to me, I feel like if I gave in to any one of those dark thoughts or any one of those dark days, I feel like I would have let everybody down that believed in me, that helped me through those times. And one thing that I don't ever want to do to anybody is I don't ever want to disappoint anybody. You know, I think that is so much more than, you know, other things you could do. I think if you, at least to me, if I don't live the best life I can live, I feel like I'm going to let all those people down that were there for me when I was at rock bottom, that were there for me when I had no money, that were there for me helping me pay my rent when everything was going on with everything, right?
Mhm.
I had my power turned off. I remember I was sitting in Walgreens and my power went off, right? And the electric company came and shut my power off. And I thought, fuck, I got no money, right? I got At one point, my bank account was froze at negative 32 cents because of overdraft fee, right? So I would have needed $35 for the, $20 overdraft fee to put $15 in my account, and I had nothing, right? And I remember I was sitting at Walgreens getting my heart medication, and I text my buddy, and I said, oh, fuck, I put off, because of everything that was going on with whatever, I put off, I couldn't pay my electric bill for a few months. So I was texting my buddy's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just had to get out of my apartment. My power shut off. I'm sitting at Walgreens. I was paying for my heart medication out of pocket because I didn't have health insurance at the time either. And I go, I don't know what I'm going to do, man. And he goes, send me your, the bill. Let me see the bill. What's the bill? And it was an obnoxious amount of money, right? And, a few minutes later, he texted me and said, I paid your bill for you, And I was like, bro, like, why? You don't have to do that, man. And he's like, no, it's good. Just focus on what you're doing right now. It's all good. Everything's going to be all right, man. So part of all of that was that I just had to always think, like, we're going to get through this, and life is going to be amazing one day, right? It's a little hiccups right now. It's all good. But, truly, like, I feel like with the energy in your heart, right? I feel like if you put out good energy, that you get back good energy, right? So I always had those thoughts, even on the shittiest days and in the toughest days. Like, I thought, I don't want to let the people down that are helping me the most, and everything's going to be great one day. Everything's going to be all right one day. We're going to get through this, and we're going to come out of this the best, I've ever been. And I don't want to, whatever, I don't want to sound cocky or want to sound whatever, but I mean, like, this moment in my life right now, everything could change tomorrow. I mean, everything can change in a heartbeat, but this moment in my life right now is the absolute best I've ever been in my life.
Man, I love that.
Physically, emotionally, happy, professionally, with my paintings. I mean, like, everything it's crazy to think of all this stuff, like telling this whole story, right? It's wild to think of all of this, but then to think of right now, life is fucking amazing, man.
I love that.
And it's like, I hate to be cheesy and think like, or say like, like, you just gotta think positive. You gotta think positive. Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be positive. The more positive energy you put out, the more positive energy comes back. But it's kind of like, it's hard to argue when, I went through all of that and my life is awesome right now.
Yes.
Like I said, it could change in a heartbeat, right? And life changes in the blink of an eye. But at this moment right now, I mean, I just got invited to do a podcast with one of my guys from the West Side talking about how, like, wild life can be. Like, Are you kidding me right now? Like, like, that to me is just like, that's what you got to do, man. You got to fight through the dark times and think positive and put that good energy out. And I mean, I think, fuck, man, I'm a testament to it that it comes back fivefold. You
said something that you said, I don't know what I'm here for. That's exactly what you're here for.
Right.
You're here to put that positivity out, and hopefully somebody hears this and it just boosts them up and pushes them, because like you said, somebody may be sitting in the hospital bed thinking the same way.
Right.
So that's what we're here for. So we can't go out sad though. We got to go out. Oh,
and the other one. Happy. So the other quote was,
okay,
you open your eyes today when a lot of people didn't.
Yep.
And like, that hit me too. That's like, yeah, you're right. I opened my eyes today. So watch this, world. I'm going to kick the shit out of you.
There you go. Like, and that's what you show. That's what you show all the time.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. As far as artwork goes, do you do any commission stuff? Is there any way to get in contact with you for that?
Yeah. I mean, I usually just, the only real social media I have is my Instagram. And then aside from like people texting me and calling me or whatever for it is, really you just send DMs. Do you send a DM?
What's the can we have the name? Or
yeah, of course.
This is a secret name.
No. It's I got a private or a public account. Like,
okay.
Whatever,
so what's the handle?
It's pretty easy. It's Michael.Spencer.
Spencer.
Originals.
We're gonna put that on the
Michael Spencer Originals. That's it.
I'm with it.
Easy. Yeah, easy to remember.
Dot,
if you know
dot,
my
dot.
name.
3
if
dots.
you don't know my name, then it's hard. But
Well, now we got to see the signature. I'm sure that's like extra awesome at the bottom.
Mine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you like sign them so they
oh,
look
you
all
gotta
cool
sign
and
it. Yeah,
everything.
I remember
That's what I'm saying.
one of my first paintings. I handed over and I didn't sign it because I was like, well, I'm not an artist, and only artists sign paintings, right?
Yeah.
And the lady lost her mind. She
Yeah.
was like, "Where's your signature?"
Yeah.
I go, "Oh, I don't know. Do you really want me to sign it?" She's
Nah.
like, "Oh my god, all artists sign that. You have to sign that, otherwise I'm not taking it." All right, yes, ma'am.
You
I'm gonna
gotta,
go
you're right. You gotta sit around and
well,
practice that.
yeah,
but now
I
it's
mean-
got to be the same every time.
every single
So,
time. Yeah.
So,
It's
okay.
pretty similar, but yeah.
Anything else you want to go out on? Anything
I-
happy you want to say?
I don't think I've said enough.
I'm gonna say I think this is my favorite episode.
It's my favorite episode too.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, I appreciate you. Honest to God, I will say one last thing. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you so much for all the work that you do. Thank you so much for being a firefighter and first responder and putting your body and life on the line. And where you're at now, you big time.
I won't say all of that.
No, are you kidding me? Hell yeah, you're top of the line.
It
man.
was a lot of hard work.
Yeah,
but
well, of course, yeah, and you deserve it. You deserve where you're at, and you deserve everything from that, and where you started, and where we were on the west side, man. Like you deserve where
I
you're
still
at now.
miss that. I still miss it over there
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah, but you're in a better
different.
spot. You know, you gotta think about the long term of the career.
Yes, the
and
long
like that,
term.
You know what I mean? Like you're skyrocketing up there, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming
Thank
on.
you, man.
All
Thank you
right,
so much.
good.
This was awesome.
All right. Oh, that was so great.
I hope so.
No hope to it. That was no.
This has been a Fire and Iron Media production. You have something to say, people want to listen. How's that, Daddy?